Greetings, G4Gites. Welcome to Games for Gamers on YouTube. I am your host, Captain Napalm Dawn, and today we're going to talk about the Marvel's Avengers game and some of the information that seems to be coming out. Now, some people kind of don't want to get into spoilers or data leaks and everything like that. You'll see groups that have restrictions on this kind of stuff. I have no such scruples. If I see it, I will talk to you guys about it. So, this video will contain spoilers. And I'm going to go ahead and deal with the spoilers right away, and then we're going to get into a second topic with Marvel's Avengers over here. So, the first thing is, over here on Murphy's Multiverse, which is not a site that I had ever heard of before until this Google card came across my phone. And this site claims to be revealing the other DLC characters that are going to be available for Marvel's Avengers. So, even before the official launch, they confirmed Hawkeye would appear as the first DLC character post-launch. No exact info is given, but it's an interesting visual tease of what we can expect. In the July War table, they confirmed the DLC concept to be titled the Avengers Initiative, and it would take continuation into the Reassemble storyline. People noticed that there were 4 distinctive placeholders for the icons. The odd thing is, Hawkeye is described as the first DLC character, but he's placed second. So the obvious reason could be that Spider-Man will be the official post-launch character. However, he's exclusive to the PlayStation, and that deal wasn't official at the time. Now, it makes you wonder, and there's a reason why I say it makes you wonder over here, because they said Spider-Man is 2021. Does that mean that the game will drop in September, and we will not have a DLC character until Spider-Man? Does that mean Hawkeye comes after Spider-Man, which comes after 2021 hits? I kind of feel like that's a little bit of a long way. Now, if this game has issues that some reviewers are predicting, I think they would probably need to get a DLC character out there relatively early to keep people interested in, to throw the masses a cake on a string, as it were, so that hopefully people would be invested in the game until a problem is fixed or like a content patch comes out. Now, I wonder if... Okay, so this maybe is the icons. I mean, that looks like Captain Marvel. That hourglassy looking thing reminds me of Marvel Future Fight's mutant bioselector that you buy. It could be DNA. This hammer looks Thor-ish, so maybe it's an Asgardian or like Beta Ray Bill. That's maybe a fist. I can't tell what that is. That, I mean, that's Captain Marvel, that one. If we know we have Miss Marvel in the game, that looks like Captain Marvel, and I can't tell what that one is. So, according to the leakers, thanks to Lego sets based off of Marvel's Avengers, there are Lego sets for Loki, Black Panther, War Machine, Captain Marvel, and Hawkeye. Well, we know about Hawkeye. Could it be that this one over here with the hammer is Loki? And a question mark, a slippery when wet sign over here. I don't know, but Captain Marvel and Loki, we could certainly make guesses on over here. Loki for the hammer, Captain Marvel for this one. That leaves us with Black Panther and War Machine. Nothing looks like a bow, so I don't think any of these are Hawkeye. I can't see anything that looks like War Machine unless that's a military rank, and that could be War Machine over there. And then Black Panther, I maybe this one could be a Black Panther face at low res. So yeah, maybe it does line up. So they do say that Lego sets are not always the most reliable source. Many remember that Iron Man 3 had a Lego set of Mandarin shooting at Tony Stark in a scorpion wagon. Now it never took place. But the characters that stand out as potential future inclusions would be War Machine, Captain Marvel, and Black Panther. But a data mining was done from the Avengers beta, and there seems to be a hero card for Black Widow, an emote for War Machine, hero card Captain America, hero card Clint Barton, hero card Hulk, Iron Man, Kate Bishop, She-Hulk, and Thor. The leak showcases the data set for these characters' hero cards. Those that played in the beta might know that each character has a unique season pass. It lets you unlock costumes or goodies throughout the game. So some that were revealed in this that haven't been talked about are Kate Bishop, She-Hulk, and War Machine. This is likely spot on because that's code at that point. So while the Lego sets might not be 100% verifiable and accurate, this code for in-game attributes, depending on how you say it, could be a sign that War Machine gets confirmed, but then She-Hulk and Kate Bishop. Be interesting to see two Archer types running around, and what would be their traversals? Would they be shooting like a grappling arrow? So that's one of the things we wanted to talk about here. So a big question is this, at all a possibility? Well, these all do seem to be the ones that exist within the MCU. Now, they're not taking from the MCU. They're not putting this game in the MCU. But clearly, we're not seeing any love for mutants or Fantastic Four or Inhumans or anything like that. So it seems the run-of-the-mill characters that we've dealt with for a while. That gets to be a little bit harsh when you look over at Marvel Future Fight, who just got fan favorite Dazzler. Now, as I said on my Tuesday stream, I never really understood where Dazzler's huge popularity comes from. Like, Gambit and Jubilee are always heavily requested. Those I understood. I mean, I certainly grew up with Jubilee, and to see her in the X-Men Apocalypse movie, it was short, but it was a brief nod to her mall culture and everything like that. And that's what I grew up with. And Gambit is always a fan favorite. But Dazzler surprises me, and a lot of people said it just depends on when you were into comics. If you were into comics, maybe before you would have hit the age to be in comics, you would have encountered Dazzler. And she's very John Travolta, disco-ish in Marvel Future Fight. Actually, she seems even pretty good. But this gets a little boring that once again we're just dealing with the characters that we always expect to deal with. Anybody that's been coming out of the movies now, She-Hulk and Kate, do throw a little bit of a wrench in it, but they're still from the same general universe. So that, I mean, to me, it's just vanilla at this point. You could say it's a very good vanilla. It's like, vanilla bean, a French vanilla bean or something like that. Super high quality vanilla with flecks of real solid taste in it. But to me, without the mutants, without Fantastic Four, without Inhumans and everything, it just seems vanilla. But okay. These do seem relatively believable. Nothing seems off the wall. Would have been nice to see, like, a Wolverine or a Deadpool in there, but Okay, and we still don't know what this hourglassy one, which looks like Marvel Future Fights, X-Men, or Mutant Bioselector. So now the second thing that we wanted to talk about for Marvel's Avengers today is this article on Forbes back on 8/10. So that means this came out post beta. The beta had existed at this point. Maybe not when he wrote it though. Well, he may not have caught beta footage at the time of him writing this, but it looks like he did. So he's basically saying that he's getting Anthem vibes from the game. Do you immediately jump to the conclusion and say, oh god, is he saying it's going to be a miserable failure? No, he's saying that perhaps there might be looter shooter issues in it. Um, with limited betas, excuse me, I'm yawning. Okay, so with limited beta access and everything like that, you never really know how the legendary system is going to work out. So what will become the end game of it? And he's pointing out here that basically Anthem didn't know how to exist as a looter shooter and make an end game for it. So basically everybody just did the same thing over and over again that wound up being the most efficient way of trying to get legendaries, and there was little incentive to do anything else. Now he points out games where it does actually work, and the things are in place. Things like Borderlands, Division 2 here. Division 2 did it well. Borderlands 3 did a decent job. No, I don't think Borderlands 3 did a decent job. Borderlands is a series that kills it when it comes to looting and shooting. I mean, you could probably say that they're the progenitor of it all, the creators of the looter shooter. But Destiny 1 and 2 struggled, and of course Anthem didn't really know its ass from a hole in the ground. He's concerned that Avengers will go that way. He's not saying the game is bad, he's saying the game is quite likable in how it plays, everything like that. However, Endgame, for some people, is the section of the game that everybody rushes to. I'm a World of Warcraft player. I know this. When a new expansion drops and we're facing Shadowlands in the fall, people take a week off work. They bust ass and level. I'm now in the beta, and I've gained 4 or 5 levels basically in about 2 solid nights. Not full days, but like 2 solid nights worth of playing, maybe 2.5. And that's going to be interesting. But the raiders blow through content so that they can run 90 miles an hour up to a brick wall, which is when the raid content opens, and then get inside. So that's one kind of person. Then there's the other kind of person that just frolics in the fields and picks a sunflower and smells a dandelion and pulls the stem out of a honeysuckle just to get that tiny little drop of honeysuckle on their tongue. And they just, come on, get happy is playing in the background as they're just walking through a summery sunny field of flowers, and they're touching everything, and they're like, hey, it's Mayor B. Those people don't have quite the issue with Endgame that other gamers do, because they take so long to consume the content. Something winds up getting added. But like the Borderlands players who play religiously and get super addicted to the game, like me, the World of Warcraft raiders and everything, we knife through the basic stuff so that we can get to the end stuff. The end stuff has to have a good loop to it, and you need incentive to play something better than the thing that is always the most efficient. Fortunately, in World of Warcraft, you have dungeons, you have heroics, you have weekly quests for a faction, you have pet battles. I mean, there's so much to do in WoW. And even the end game has a variety, because you have the Raid Finder version, you have normal, heroic, mythic, if that's what your guild is into. And bosses have different abilities most of the time when you upgrade the challenge level. Sometimes it's the same ability but hits harder. Other times it's different. Borderlands has always done super well in the game because you then hit your level 60, you set the game to be true Vault Hunter mode or ultimate Vault Hunter mode, and you play it again but with the same guns and the same power, and you re-level but are powerful, which makes it more fun because you're not based back at a basic level 5 gun with no fixes and everything. So he's saying that Anthems was trash because everybody just did the efficient thing and then that was it. So he's saying it's hard to judge the game's loot by the beta. Destiny Alpha and betas didn't have you finding anything past green or blue loot. And I would say even when I got live Destiny, it took me a very, very long time to get something almost equivalent to a Borderlands gun drop. And it was not exactly that powerful, but it was that finally I got something that felt like I looted something I shooted. Well, Avengers may have that problem. However, they said a few legendaries do show up now and again, but he would like to see a legendary showcase. So it would be helpful to see what the legendary gear is and what it does to reinforce different builds, different endgame setups and everything. Granted, maybe it's spoilery, but I think players want some confirmation that the endgame has been well thought out here, unlike other games. This game, I'm telling you, if you haven't pre-ordered it, you may want to hold off on this. This could be a game that I think a lot of gamers would not fault the community at large for not getting it on release day. And maybe sitting back a little bit and seeing how the dust settles on this one. I did get the beta because I knew they made graphic strides. I mean, I did do the pre-order. I knew they made the graphic strides, which was a big key thing for me. But some of the other controversies hadn't come up yet, like the Spider-Man thing. I'm not going to take it back now to protest, but one of the main goals that I wanted the beta access is so that I could do videos on it for you guys and help you make choices, make proper choices. I've seen a lot of the streamers and Twitch personalities weigh in from the weekend beta, and things were mostly very positive, including discovering the Hulkbuster armor, heroic and everything like that. And then there were some people that said, maybe it got a little samey, But the thing is, we've had samey games before. Look at Doom. Look at the last two Doom games. It's go down a corridor, get in a room, get raped, get slammed for 5 minutes until you slam enough back that you can touch a pedestal or get through a door, and then it's rinse and repeat. Whereas like maybe old Doom had things smattered and scattered, covered and chunked in the hallways, and maybe you had to flip a switch and then a wall, an invisible wall door dropped down, and there were things behind that. It kept you on your toes, whereas Doom and Doom Eternal, it's more like Olympic running, bad stuff happens for 5 minutes in a room, Olympic running, bad stuff happened. I mean, Doom Eternal did it a little better with like some shambling zombies in the hall for regen, but it was a major slam on the very good game that was the 2016 Doom. Is like, it's just action room, corridor, action room, corridor. So comparing it to Anthem is certainly very dangerous. And we already know that the PlayStation version is going to have Spider-Man for free, giving it more value. So it just doesn't, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it if you hadn't ordered it already. Let the dust settle. Let the YouTubers get out there. Let the streamers get out there. If you are somebody who is maybe interested in the game, but hasn't bought it yet, do your due diligence. Go out there and watch the streams. Watch it live as it happens. Catch people's gameplay videos. Right now, uh, while I was taking a little bit of a minor trip with my girlfriend today, we were talking about this game, and she's like, oh, Jim Sterling did something on that. He kind of eviscerated it. And I'm like, oh, God, now what? Because I didn't really like Jim Sterling's Remnant review. He found it, like, samey and boring and everything because the dumbass didn't get out of the Earth Zone. And because he never got out of the Earth Zone, everything looked like Earth, post-apocalyptic Earth. Sometimes he's not good at a game, he doesn't play a game well, he doesn't stick with it long enough, and he gives a stupid review. Well, she played his review of Marvel's Avengers in the car for us, and it was him just going off in a live service video game, and just crapping on the fact that Verizon is giving you a skin if you're with Verizon and the game. Intel, the 5 gum thing that people are having a tough time finding this 5 gum Avengers tie-in. T-Mobile or Sprint is another one that's doing a tie-in like Verizon. And he's like, oh, we could just tell it's getting bastardized by the live services and these tie-ins. I don't necessarily think those are bad things. You're not going to switch to Verizon to get a goddamn Iron Man skin. It's just a little freebie. And then he's like and you're going to walk around as an advertisement for that company if you ask. Here's the thing. Is an 8-year-old kid playing Marvel's Avengers going to see Kamala Khan go by with an outfit and then say, well, where does that come from? And somebody says, well, because I have Verizon. It's not real. That's not an advertisement. It's just a fact. Who is going to switch carriers because they saw a Verizon unlocked skin in a video game? I didn't really like his point. And my girlfriend was like, well, maybe you're biased because you're interested in this game. I'm like, no, actually, I'm not biased. This game has been very divisive right from the beginning. It can go so many different ways over here. I just didn't like Jim Sterling's take on it. And it's really going to come down to him playing the live version to see if he changes his mind. But I do see where he's coming from on certain things, but I think it's just typical Jim Sterling over the top craziness in what he was ranting about in this one. He wasn't ranting about the loot or the play modes or anything. He wasn't like, oh, the harm room is awful, it sucks, like I don't know why people do that, or the brutal difficulty, forget it, you're dead in 2 steps. He just basically thought it was going to be a greedy cash cow and everything, but if they never charge you for anything, how is it ever greedy? And how is it a cash cow other than just buying it? But he did bring up that there were some beta issues and like matchmaking was tough, but that's a beta. He even says it's a beta, but he still kind of used it against him, so we'll see. That's the news. We may have some characters in Loki, Black Panther, War Machine, and Captain Marvel, and we also maybe will have She-Hulk and Kate Bishop. That'll be interesting to have 2 Hulks and 2 Hawkeyes in there. Odd setup. So what do you guys think? Do you think this Lego-related leak could be the right sign? And what do you think about are you scared about Avengers? And are you scared to pre-order it because do you think, maybe you're going to get burned? I'm curious to know. Thanks a lot, everybody. Hope you liked the video. And leave any comments below on what we talked about here today. Have a good one.